hyper wiper. Have you heard the term?
No, honey, I've never heard about hyper wipers. What would a hyper wiper be? What's a hyper?
Now,
Help me. Hey, it's JJ, and welcome to Ask the Health Expert. But this isn't just any old Ask the Health Expert session. This is your bonus session. Yes, it's the weekend, and because it's the weekend, we are going to take some time with an amazing expert. So be on the lookout for these Saturday Ask the Health Expert bonus sessions where we're going to go deep into an amazing subject with an incredible expert to give you actionable items that you can put into your life. Welcome to today's show. Oh my gosh, we are talking poop today. We're talking all sorts of fun stuff. And I am super excited about the guest we have today. So here's how this all went down. I was at an event in Toronto, Canada, and this gal, we're all introducing ourselves, and she's showing the picture of her book. It is her sitting on a toilet, I kid you not. And she, I'll say it's OSHT, all right? And she calls herself the Queen of Thrones. She's a naturopathic doctor, and her whole world is about helping people improve their gut function, and she's just having fun with it. Because, this can be a little bit off subject, and people get weird about talking about it. I know on this show, whenever we talk about anything related to gut and poop, everybody loves it. So I saw this and I went, okay, we have to have you on. I am really excited to share this interview with you because some of the ways she terms things are they're so easy for you to remember. And even more importantly, they're easy for you to take action on, which is what I always look for. Let me tell you about Dr. Marisol. She is an expert with a passion for cleansing and gut health. Not only because she has a degree on the wall, but more so because she's experienced feeling crappy and figured out the hierarchy on how to get healthy. She's literally spent hundreds of thousands of dollars experimenting with and experiencing with what works and doesn't, and she's given this all to us. She is the Queen of Thrones, and for over 15 years, she's been instrumental in the training and education of thousands of healthcare practitioners worldwide and has helped thousands of patients transition to be able to own their throne and have poops they can be proud of. I added that part in. With the launch of her first book, she promises to change your life royally by reducing the anxiety and stress that irritates your bowels so you can regain your natural rhythms, improve your digestion, and end the irritation once and for all. Dr. Marisol directs and practices at Sanus Health Practice in Canada. She spearheaded Pure Sanus, a line of pure and illuminating health supplements, tools, and teas distributed in health food stores, yoga studios, medical offices, and online. Her educational conferences and programs help people that feel like frogs turn into their true princes and princesses. She champions them to become their legend. Join her movement to help you take charge of your kingdom so your life can be legendary. So I couldn't help myself. I put her show notes and some of the cool stuff we've talked about in the interview and her gift all at jjvirgin.com/throne. So make sure you grab that because you will see there's some super actionable things that you can do right away that will make a big shift, which is what I love to be able to give you. Now, before we dive in, a word about one of my other favorites. Doing keto, but on the go? My Keto Bars can keep you on track deliciously. The dark chocolate and coconut taste like a candy bar, and the pumpkin seed and hemp protein blend makes them vegetarian friendly too. Sweetened with keto-approved allulose syrup, they have 2 net grams of carbs, 10 grams of protein, and 15 grams of healthy fat so they can satisfy you and keep you that way for hours. And because you are a listener, you can get them for 10% off while supplies last. Just go to jjvirgin.com/keto bar and use the coupon code KETO, KETO in caps at checkout. All right. Welcome to the show, Dr. Marisol. This is super exciting to have you here.
Oh, JJ, thanks so much for having me. I just love you and I love your followers, and I'm sure they're going to love my message and what we're going to share today.
Well, come on. My followers love to talk about poop. I'm always talking about having poops you can be proud of. So having the Queen of Thrones on the show, like, does it get better than this? I don't think so.
Perfect. Yeah, I just want to share my message.
So yes, well, you got to love a girl whose book cover has her sitting on the toilet, which you all will see. So let's dive into, first of all, Missy, how did you get into all of this? Like how did you get into gut, poop, all of this? What happened?
Yeah, so funny. I guess my mother always was asking me to look at her poops, and we were always examining poops when we were younger and as children. And
wait, your mom wanted you to look at her poops or your poops?
Yeah, both. So we would look at our poops, and then we'd look at everybody's poops in our family. Coming from a Spanish Catholic family, we were very open, and we would talk about bodily functions all the time. But what I noticed was that when I went out there in the world with non-Spanish, non-Catholic, and outside of my family, people were really afraid to talk about bodily functions. And
I've never seen my mother's poop, just to be clear. So you understand, and I think past the time I was a baby, she hasn't seen mine.
There you go.
Just FYI.
Yeah. So it's
and my kids have not seen mine either. So this is not
normal.
I've never heard anything like this before. Well, what's normal? I mean, and who wants to be normal anyway? But, it's interesting. Let's just say that.
Well, the thing, what I realized was that people are so scared to talk about it that they don't know when it's right or when it's wrong. And then when I first started off in naturopathic practice, because coming from Spanish background and just already being into the herbs and all the natural stuff, I just went out and go and speak. I'd always start speaking about poop, and people couldn't stop listening or laughing, and I just loved talking about it. So I just somehow kept on going down with that comedic routine. And in practice, I started teaching patients, and I became known for, I'm going to get really deep into what your poop looks like. And patients, every visit they come to see me, they tell me exactly what their poop is looking like, whether they're a hyper wiper or not. And so the trend just continued. And in my practice,
what did you just say?
Hyper wiper. Have you heard the term?
No, honey, I've never heard about hyper wipers. What would a hyper wiper be? What's a hyper?
Now,
Help me.
Yes. A lot of your listeners aren't probably going to be hyper wipers because they're following your recommendations, right, for gluten-free, dairy-free, healthy whole foods diet, right? So a hyper
yes,
yeah, a hyper wiper is somebody who has excessive wipes. Typically, we should only be wiping our bum one time and the paper should be clean. And I guarantee you so many people do not do that. And this is the first question I asked. And if you look at indigenous cultures, they don't have normal toilets. They'll squat, right? And they'll pop a poop. And then they typically don't wipe because if they're in a hot climate or country, they don't have toilet paper. And I doubt that they want to use like a harsh branch to wipe their bums, but they honestly don't need to. And it's because they're eating an indigenous diet, which is low mucus forming and low allergenic for them. But us, in our society, many of us are eating, high allergenic diets. Our gut microbiome or the bugs in our guts aren't the right ones. So all that is causing irritation, inflammation, redness in our guts and causing lots of mucus coming out in the stool, and mucus makes it sticky, right? No different than when you're blowing your nose.
Wow, this is fascinating. So the hyper wipers, is one sign that you do not have good things going on in your gut. But let's talk about what are signs of a good gut? What are signs of a not so happy gut?
Awesome. Yeah. So signs of a good gut, typically you're not bloated after eating, you're going to the bathroom regularly. You'll have what we call 12-inch stools daily, which most people aren't achieving yet. And those 12-inch stools, you can actually measure them on your body from your wrist all the way down to your elbow. That's the length of the normal stool that you should be having daily, which would make you not constipated. So anything smaller than that, you're actually on the verge of constipation. It's crazy. So everyone look at your elbow, from your elbow to your wrist, and make sure that you're going that much daily. If not, you may be lacking fiber or water. Other signs, of course, having nice skin outside of the gut, having beautiful skin, that's a sign of a healthy gut. Having a good, healthy mind, also a sign of a healthy gut, because you're not deficient in any nutrients that would otherwise make your mind not work well. And some of the key ones that I really like patients to look at, because there's some signs that you can actually just see on your body. A cool sign of malabsorption is if you look at your nails and if there are a lot of vertical ridges, that's a sign that you're not absorbing your food properly. So likely you're not getting the most out of your, awesome nutrition if you have those vertical lines on your nails. So those are just some of the key signs, JJ.
All right. And so you've got that one. What are some other things, like, let's say, what is your poop telling you besides it should be that, like, you should poop that much during a day? What are things to look out for? Like, if your poop's like floating or like nosediving, like what are the goods? What are the bads?
Awesome. So since we talked about hyper wiping and the mucus in the stool, let's talk about a couple more that indicate those kinds of problems. So one I like to call the cow plop, which actually looks just the same way that if you're out there on a farm and you see a cow do a dung, it's like a cow plop in the toilet bowl. It's not formed. So that again is a sign of, number one, probably too quick of transit time. And number two, that you have a lot of mucus in your stool as well too. The other thing is tread marks in your toilet bowl. So your throne in your toilet bowl should actually be clean and there should be no marks on that bowl. That's again, more sign of mucus. Now, if you have a stool that is floating on the toilet, and if you also see perhaps what I like to call an oil slick around on the bowl, that's a sign of either you're intaking too much fats and maybe you don't have a gallbladder or you're having problems with absorbing the fat, or that you just don't absorb the fat at all. So then the oil comes out of your stools and sticks on the top of the toilet and it makes the stool float. So that's another common sign. I also like to correlate your poops to your nutrient deficiencies, which I think for people are really important. I mean, magnesium we know is such an important nutrient to keep you calm and keep your body working well, hormonal detoxification, all those great things. And in your stools, if you're having balls, so basically you're basically having like little rabbit pellets or balls, that's a sign of low magnesium. So another cool thing about your stool. If you are showing too much of your food, not digesting it well. Yeah. So the peeping Tom poos, I like to call them. So, and we're not talking the typical things that just don't break down because of their skin, like corn and sometimes red peppers, but I mean like other food particles. Then you just... Our
people here don't eat the corn anyway.
Good.
Most of us are corn free. We recognize corn is not a health food.
That's right. Right. An allergen, right? And so you would have, if you have other foods, then that means that you're not digesting properly and you may be deficient in digestive enzymes. Right? So much you can see from the stool, and I can go on and on. I actually have a little pictogram I like to use with my patients, what I like to call, it's a little bit of a swear, so I don't know if I can say it on the podcast, but the beep show. Mm-hmm. And it's basically got about 15 characters on it. And those 15 characters happen to be all what stool is telling you, basically. Very cool.
So big takeaway for everybody listening is look at your poop.
Yeah.
Look at your poop. It's talking to you and it will tell you what's going on. So I know when my gut feels bad, like things just are bad. Like, it seems to just like, So why is that?
Well, because number one, probably maybe something got into your food, JJ. Now I've seen you eat, and I know you are super clean.
Super clean. I can tell if something snuck in. I always take safety net, as you know, but right. Man, if something sneaks in and I've not been prepared, I know it. And it was interesting hearing you talk because, I battled with skin problems forever, all sorts of stuff. So I am super aware of what I eat. But this stuff you're talking about is interesting because you could be very careful with your diet, but it doesn't mean that you're still going to have great poops because of either the digestive enzyme issue, you could have parasites, your gut microbiome could be off, you might not have enough fiber, you've got thyroid issues, magnesium deficiencies, right? All that other stuff going on. So the diet seems to be just one piece of it. Yes.
Oh, that's probably the most important key. I say to people this, the gut is the hub and the interconnection of all the regulation systems in the body. So what I mean by regulation system is, the hormonal system. We all know how important that is. The immune system, so super important. And then the nervous system, everything connects within the gut because all those systems get fed by the gut. So if you're not absorbing, or if something sneaks into your diet, for sure, make sure you have safety net on hand. But if you're missing that, something will irritate your gut, and then that'll take all your systems off. And for some people, like, for me, my weakness will be in my nervous system. So I'll get anxious. Some people will get, their hormones will go off, right? So maybe their periods start being unregulated, or their thyroid goes wonky, right? And they start to suddenly gain weight. So the gut is the hub and the interconnection zone for everything that makes us awesome and balanced, right? So definitely.
So since you just went there, let's talk a little bit about, how we kind of talk about the gut as the second brain. Let's talk about how your emotions, your mood, how all that is wrapped up in your gut. You know you're supposed to get a good night's sleep, but it's just not happening. Maybe you struggle to fall asleep, or you just can't seem to stay asleep. I get it. I struggled too, which is why I created Sleep Candy, my delicious, chewable sleep supplement that's a powerful combination of L-theanine, melatonin, 5-HTP, inositol, and B6. And good news, because you're a listener, you get 10% off your order at jjvirgin.com/sleep candy while supplies last. Just enter the code SLEEP, all in caps, at checkout.
So the gut actually has its own nervous system that is completely independent of the brain. And that is called the enteric nervous system. So honestly, if you cut the gut outside of our bodies, it would still operate. You could put food into it and it'd still keep on, digesting the food and bringing it out the other end. Fortunately, we don't have to do that in our system. But what happens is this, and I correlated this to the brain having the brain and the gut working together and feeling things the same way, is that how you digest food is also an explanation of how you are digesting your life. So if at a point in time, you're eating that awesome clean diet, you're taking safety nets, so you're taking your probiotics, you're taking all the things that you should be doing, right? You're exercising well, you're trying to do everything well, but you have emotional stressors. Those emotional stressors are how you're dealing with your life. And if you're not digesting those well, in turn, that is going to affect your digestion. And that'll be a secondary problem. And even though you think you're doing everything right, you haven't dealt with that emotional aspect and what is going on in your life, and you're not digesting life well. So we not only have to digest our food well, JJ, and do all the things that you and I recommend, but we also have to learn how to digest our life well. We need to adopt in those, calming practices, meditation, exercise, whatever it is that works for you, yoga, whatever it is. You need to be adopting those into your practice to help you with dealing with life as well.
So let's talk about, you just mentioned a couple things that can help the gut. Let's talk about what else you can do. Because again, when your gut doesn't feel good, like I was just at a Tony Robbins seminar, and it was literally started at 9 a.m. I mean, now you'll really appreciate our event. Starts at 9 a.m., goes till, 11, 12 at night. They have a break if you're lucky. Like the first day, there were no breaks.
Wow.
And, I brought in my bag, but I mean, how much food can you like, it's not like you're lugging in a piece of salmon with some vegetables. Like there's only so much you can do. So basically I got bars and nuts, and water. Yeah. And, after a couple of days of that, I'm like, okay, this is just annoying. And I just didn't feel good being trapped in that room, et cetera, no sunshine. And I noticed the minute my gut felt off, everything was sideways. So it is super duper important, especially if you're trying to focus at an event for long periods of time. So what are some things that you can do to have a great gut?
That's awesome. Okay. So those are, and that's actually in my book, it's the first chapter to the treatment protocol, right? Which is really about, connecting. And it's connecting to our bodies when we're under stress like that, because obviously that's a long conference, JJ. And I love Tony Robbins. He's amazing, but those are intense conferences.
I know, but come on, dude. I was like, wow, really? We can't have I get it, but normal. Like I was going, there must be some ulterior motive here. He's trying to wear us down. But boy, if you had some breaks and some decent food, I think that'd be more effective. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
So then on situations like that, which can happen in our lives. I mean, I've had periods where I'm so gangbusters busy. I have to do what I can to figure out my ways to keep myself balanced. There's tools like things like Castor Oil Packs, tools that'll help you sleep better. And those are probably the most important ones. I'll start with Castor Oil Packs because they're probably one of my favorites. Castor Oil Packs is an old naturopathic eclectic therapy that first got introduced in the early 1900s. And it was basically like a health promoting pack. But these packs are put on top of your liver or on your abdomen, and they're used for a variety of things, but most specifically when it comes to the gut, what they do is they calm down the nervous system because the pack and the castor oil, which goes deep into the tissues and actually moves toxins around and helps you digest, helps you do all these great things, helps you reduce inflammation in your gut. These packs are like an escape button on your computer for your nervous system. So the minute that you put them on your body, they actually completely calm you down.
So do you buy those? Do you make them? Like, tell me, I don't know what the heck those are.
We make them for our patients, and we're actually going to be launching them shortly within the next few months online.
Good, because I want them.
Awesome.
I think we all want them. Yeah, everyone wants them.
I do them daily on a regular basis when I'm at home in the morning. I put them on just because my life is stressful. I'm very busy. I'm taking care of lots of patients at clinic. I see some pretty tough conditions. I'm also do all my online programs, all the things I love, and putting my message out there in the world. And these packs help keep me stable. So you put them on your abdomen, and literally, like they just make you feel calm, and they just put you in a good place in your body, and they reduce core inflammation, right, which is so important. They help your gut and your liver detoxify because those packs are an escape button. When you put them on, if your body escapes into the relaxed state, suddenly your digestion can work better. You can break down the food. You can eliminate it out of your system. You can also detoxify those components, the stress hormones that are bothering your body and messing up everything else in your hormone system too. So, and they improve the immune system. So when you're under a 9 to 11 type of a schedule with no breaks, all your systems are going wonky. So putting on these packs will help you just to kind of reset and regulate your system. So that's probably number one, most important. It's probably one of the biggest prescriptions in my practice. And I teach at the naturopathic college to the students all about these packs, making sure that they implement them in their practice, because it's one of those, I call them a top 8 royal health practice, along with things that you recommend too, JJ. Of course, your important supplements, your diet, having a hypoallergenic diet. Castor oil packs are one of those 8 top royal health practices, right? And then the other one is eye masks for sleep. The reason being is that if you have any problem sleeping, or if you've been in a day that's incredibly stressful and your body is off and you just feel that your gut is off, making sure that you get a good night's sleep that night is incredibly important, because it'll, again, reset your nervous system, and it'll help you in how you're digesting life, right? So putting an eye mask on at night, the skin around the eyes, not only do they have a variety of different nerves which are connected directly into the brain, but there's scientific evidence that when you put a sleep mask on, it actually stimulates all the sleep hormones, those important things like melatonin, right, which will help you get.
Really? I did not know this.
Sleep masks are incredible. Like, it's
wow.
Cool. Yeah, it'll stimulate your melatonin. They'll stimulate GABA. Melatonin being the nutrient that'll help you fall asleep, and GABA being the nutrient that'll help you maintain your sleep, right? So putting on a sleep mask at night will help to do this. And I've actually taken it a step further, where I'm incorporating castor oil with our sleep masks with lavender, because castor oil, number one, is a really great anti-aging oil. So for getting those little lines and wrinkles, it'll actually help to plump up the dermis underneath the eye and helps you to reduce the signs of aging. So not only will you have that press
bonus,
press the escape button and sleep well, but you'll also help yourself to look younger, and then you'll feel better about yourself as well too. So super cool stuff.
Wow.
Great too.
I love 2-for-1s.
Yeah. So those are probably my first steps for patients to do. Make sure you're sleeping.
And one other thing, we're coming up against the time here, and I have all these other things, so we'll bring you back. But
awesome.
You just gave us some really cool things that I've never heard before, which I really love, that are very actionable, which is even cooler. What do you do every day and pick one thing of all the stuff you do that you feel like makes like a big difference in your life?
Honestly, I'm going to say castor oil. the periods of my life.
And the winner goes to
the castor. Honestly, the periods of my life. And because there's a funny emotional story with it. My first company that I launched, Castor Oil Packs, with my ex-fiance. And that dissolved. We dissolved as a relationship and our company dissolved. And for legal reasons, I had to stop talking about Castor Oil Packs, which completely burnt my heart. But I also,
oh my goodness,
I felt so bad about them that I actually stopped doing them. But what I realized was the stress and the anxiety and the way that I was handling my life, it wasn't as well balanced as it was when I adopted the Castor Oil Pack. So fast forward years later, I started reinventing them, bringing them back to my patients, redoing them for myself. And I realized like everything started working in order. And the thing too is that Castor Oil Packs for people, they're also a really great gateway into things like meditation. And lots of times I recommend my patients to start with Castor Oil Packs and then evolve that practice with a meditation practice. And the reason being is this. So many of us, JJ, we have this hamster running around in our brain all the time and we just can't shut it off. And when we start to try to meditate, it's like, it's impossible for us, right? Our thoughts are racing. We can't do it. And it's because we haven't hit the escape button. So do a Castor Oil Pack, hit the escape button, get into your meditation. Life is good. Everything aligns and things work out the way that they need to be. And that's that.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, you've got something cool. We always give great gifts to our guests, to our listeners, and you are going to give your gut feel good blueprint to gut health, which is what? Tell everybody about what you're giving them.
So it's an awesome 28-page book. It's awesome, but it's easy to digest. I promise you, I would never give you something that you can't digest easily. So it's step by step about the mistakes that you may be making, and then how to make those things better. And we talk about everything from assessing your stools and looking at them and how to know what's right. What are your signs? How to make your signs better? And what the most actionable things, what are the top tools that you need to be doing? And in that, of course, I talk about the sleep practice. I talk about the Castor Oil Pack. I also talk about the important nutrients that you want to add into your life and supplements, the top ones for the gut. Of course, things like safety net, magnesium, the B vitamins, right?
All right, don't give it all away. They have to get the gift. Get the gift. It's all in there. It's free. And we'll put it at, I've been thinking about like, what's the funniest place to put it? So believe me, I was thinking poop, but I'm going to do throne. So you are known as the Queen of Thrones, and I'm going to do this at jjvirgin.com/throne. We have like the most amazing show notes out there. We'll put all of this in the show notes. You can download that freebie. You definitely want to get that. And we'll also download my favorite eye mask because I played around with a bunch of them. And since I travel all the time, it's one of the things I always travel with, but now I'll use it at home. Who knew? And we'll talk about, we'll make sure we put in there too about the Castor Oil Packs, because we'll definitely want to have access to those for everybody. So that is awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, my pleasure, JJ. You're just such an inspiration to me, and I've been following you for years. And thank you for doing what you're doing. And thank you for letting me bring this to your people too.
Oh, it's been fantastic. There was your deep dive bonus episode of Ask the Health Expert. We will be dropping these bonus episodes as amazing experts and incredible titles come to us. You don't want to miss out on this, do ya? Stay in the know, be the first to know. Go to subscribe to jj.com and I'll hook you up.